As you mentioned, I migrated to the United States at the age of 10 years old with 12 brothers and sisters. I'm one of 13. I'm a middle child, father and mom, and there was 15 of us. We moved into a 2-bedroom, 1-bath frame home, less than 900 square feet. And, I often say that we were so poor, I couldn't afford a dream. But in the midst of all of that, there was a lot of resourcefulness. There was tremendous amount of faith in the midst of all that dysfunction. I did come from a very, very dysfunctional background. There was a lot of sexual abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, poverty, and a lot of things that go with coming in from a disadvantaged background. A lot of poverty. My father had a 3rd grade education. Mother had a 6th grade education. So there were, and mother was 15 and father was either 17 or 18 years old when they got married. So there were children raising children. Okay. And they basically had a child every year. There was 13 children for, an span of their marriage.
God bless your mom.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, today I have a tremendous appreciation for their efforts and for everything that they did. At some point in my life, I was not so kind. I couldn't, as I went through life growing up and I was trying to understand the dynamics of the household, and trying to put in my head, why would they have 13 children? Why couldn't they just have me, So, when you try to understand all those dynamics today, I'm extremely grateful for the efforts that my parents put forward to raise all 13 of us. The reality is that they could only give us what they had, what they knew. Okay. It is my responsibility moving forward to make sure what I make of my life. They brought me into this world and they gave me an opportunity to be able to live in one of the greatest countries in the world. Even though I come from a country that has a lot of richness and a lot of fun and a lot of fiesta and a lot of folksy stuff, right? But the reality is that the opportunities that my parents provided for us being in America completely changed my life and the life of many of my siblings. But more importantly, it's given me an opportunity to become a better person, to be a better person, and to look at how can I go back into the communities that I came from, the communities that raised me very early on. And how can I serve? How can I make a difference? How can I make sure that there's not any other 10-year-olds, immigrant boys that go through the same hardships that I did? And that's basically where I'm at today.
Yeah, I think it's so powerful. I think a lot of people forget in that experience and they're trying to just remove themselves from it so much that they don't have the time that's invested from the mental health perspective or the therapy perspective to go back and actually have that sense of appreciation because there's so much trauma. And I love that you've made it through to the other side of that. But not only are you trying to just move on past it, you're actually reaching your hand back and saying, how can I help others out of it? That's true philanthropy.
Well, yes, but it's not always been that way.
Oh, okay? Sure. Sure.
I think very early on, what I wanted to do, I wanted to escape from where I came from. When I look at the dynamics of our household, 13 children, 2-bedroom, 1-bath home, 6th grade education, 3rd grade education, poverty everywhere I came up. What I wanted to do was get out of there, right? And I think that was my first reaction, was to escape my reality. And to follow the money, to chase the money, because I thought that if I only had, the richness, the success, I would be able to not feel the way that I felt as a young boy. The reality is, everywhere I went, there I was. I had not addressed a lot of those issues, and I wanted to numb them with alcohol. I wanted to numb them with women. I wanted to numb them with more toys, more cars, more suits, more shoes, more ties, more. I was a more whore. The reality is that I had such a big hole in the center of my soul that there was nothing that was going to fill it. Until I went back and I actually addressed some of those issues, I was able to go back and stop taking the little boy, the 10-year-old immigrant boy, into the boardroom, into the marriage, into the relationship, into the partnership, and sabotaging everything. I needed to go back, hug him, tell me it was okay, he was safe now, and he could go. Okay, mm-hmm. That was the moment that I set myself free to be able to look at the world with a completely different perspective, to have a tremendous appreciation for what my parents did for me, regardless of where they came from and how they did it. And to also and to also realize that now I have a responsibility not only to create a legacy for myself, for my parents, for my children, and for my children's children.